Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pro Teachers Noob. Today with me, Ingrid.
Hello!
And today we're going over our recently completed Black Label book, Waller versus Wildstorm. Very interesting story. It's basically having Waller go up against a lot of the Wildstorm characters set in these almost like an 80s, or more like a 70s political thriller. I originally told you 80s, more like 70s.
Ooh, fun.
Yep, and first of all, look at this right now. It looks like, it's special offer, try to get rid of the book.
Oh yeah, I like that little detail of just all of the different price tags that are
Even though it's
on
all
it.
the same price.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if they more trade it to other stores. But yeah. America, and this is in the city of Gomorrah, which was a Wildstorm city. The final days of the Cold War. America is coming. We know our history. We know your history. This is what history shows. But General wrong. America's already here. Washington is back and Kazan Gomorrah since before either of us was born. What's changing? I mean, the real America is coming, Miss Lane. The military advisors you send are merely an advance guard. Capital is coming. Your military rights first and protects nervous elites from popular movements like ours. Then you tell your people that allies like Kazan are what stand between them and communism. The Kazans of the world sign away their air and sea basing rights to your Air Force and your Navy. The advanced guard stays. They're Kazans and rule. But that is the beginning of the story, not the end. Kazan gave our land his name, but Perugia still stands in our soul. His fear of that truth stopped him from giving you everything, as so many Kazans do. Our rubber, our cobalt, our people to turn into your starvation wage workers. These are the interests of capital. America is just the clothes capital wears. And I take it they're the interests of Yumiko Gamora, the investment bankers about to take over her father's country. Whose posters you're shooting? For Yumiko, there is no Perugia, nor even Gamora, only capital. Someone like that will easily kill her own if no one stops her. A banker is going to kill the people her dictator father wouldn't? Touche! I just like how Lois is just right, but what do you think about this in these first 2 pages?
Oh, I really like the art here.
Yeah, but a lot of political jargon that's kind of true to a degree.
Yeah.
Were there any messages for me? Your editor called and someone dropped off this letter. And Sin, Steve, we have the leader of the Perusian Liberation Front addressing an American audience. Lois, come on. And she gave the revolutionary boilerplate capitalism bad, boilerplate. Capitalism bad, regime bad, America bad, blah, blah, blah. Is this really something you want on your byline? And do I want my byline on a resistance movement and declaring war on the next leader of a major U.S. client? And Lois, Steve, if you spike this wrong, and PLF will never trust me again, and they'll be right. I know you're new here, but this is the Daily Planet, Lois. We don't print propaganda. It's got to be late over there. Let's regroup tomorrow, your time. See what we have for Sunday. This extremely expensive trip doesn't have to be a loss. No, he's Steve is normally in other versions a sports guy, but he's deputy foreign editor here. Miss Lane, I'll be at the restaurant of Gomorrah City Intercontinental Hotel until it closes. I need to talk to you, Jackson King. Sorry, what? Steve, good idea. Let's talk tomorrow. You have a great day. Adeline Kane, Bishop. Taxi! Come on, please. The kitchen is closing in 15 minutes. I'm so sorry. I saw your message late. Not at all. Thank you for meeting me, Miss Lane. I'm hoping not to take up too much of your time. Commander King, this is really unexpected and just thank you. You never talk to the press. You could call me Jackson, Miss Lane. And about that, I can't call you Battalion. Sorry, I did a parody expose on Stormwatch for my high school paper. Call me whatever you like, but everything I'm going to tell you, I can document. That's excellent. I can take these documents with me, or Actually, wait. I need to ask why a Checkmate legend is halfway around the world talking to me. Miss Lane, have you ever heard of a woman named Amanda Waller? Never. Who is she? She's the reason my friend is dead. Afghanistan, 1 year ago. Shit! But you the duty officer? Yes, sir. Winter in there? Sir? Nicholas Kamarov. Is he? Battalion, sir. Commander Kamarov ordered me. Winter! And all of you Checkmate talks about you. All of Checkmate talks about you as a great tactician, Battalion. Yet you come blasting with an energy absorber nearby. Nigel was Stormwatch. He was your teammate, and you murdered him. Commander King, wait. And that's enough. Get the fuck up. Commander King, please. This base is my first commission. I just got it. If you kill Commander Kamarov, I'll be court-martialed. Very well, let's talk. Ma'am, I think this is the last place on Earth Checkmate should be, but I respect that and that you run things here, and I still gonna need you to turn Winter over to me. Ma'am, I'm sorry, it's just, you're a Battalion. You're a pioneer. Ma'am, I appreciate that, truly, but I have reason to believe that Commander Kamarov murdered Checkmate Commander Nigel King. Oh, Lord, what kind of reason? Nigel was Hellstrike from my team, Stormwatch. It's been an honor to serve with such a hero. He was the best of Checkmate, the real Checkmate, when we did civil rights enforcement. Before this shit. This shit? Ma'am, I apologize if I come off as dismissive. You just got here, and I respect that. But look around you. You in a black site. That's what people in our line of work call a torture chamber. Like I said, I served with Hellstrike. We went through things together. He trusted me. Nigel never believed Checkmate had any business outside our borders, but he went where they sent him. Here, a supply outpost, but really where we take people who might have power. Why did they send Hellstrike there? What was Checkmate doing in Afghanistan? All I know for sure is that they manned a supply outpost for the fighters against the Soviets. The Adeline Kanes of Checkmate. This is what they think we should do. Go to whatever war Washington sticks us in. Find locals who might have powers. Get to them before the other side does. Bring them here to test whether they really do have powers under conditions of extreme stress. Hellstrike couldn't say much over an official channel. Just that if he ended up dead, I should get his files here. And it would be our friend Winter who killed him. My mother would call us to the TV when they would show a Battalion on the news. All of us were so proud of you. Doing what you do and did for who you did it for, I wanted them to feel that pride in me. So I had to do what you do. I could never though. Come on now. It was like, what? What next? They're going to let you be weatherman, running things from a satellite up in space? I'm grateful to have an impact. Weatherman, no. I'll tell you, ma'am, I apologize. I don't think I heard your name. Chief of Base Amanda Waller. It's an honor, sir. Well, Chief Waller, Amanda. Look, when I saw them launch Skywatch, I knew I had to get up there. You too? Me too. Reckon Checkmate. The suit might be the way. If they're going to have a giant space station up above us, one of us has to be on it. Exactly, sir. You never found out what a civil rights agency, the only U.S. agency legally authorized to use metahuman abilities, was doing, manning a supply outpost in a proxy war halfway around the world? Miss Lane, I said I can document what I tell you. You, me, and everyone else has an opinion about what Checkmate does in whatever place. I came here to document something. But you're the Inspector General. Yeah, as it turns out, Afghanistan was how I got that job. You didn't disappoint me, Commander King. Oh, look at that! The wall! Get it? Brick wall! Of course, you flew halfway around the world for your friend. For Checkmate, all I need is 5 minutes with Nigel's file cabinets, and 5 more minutes with Winter. Let's get going. You're a legend. I truly wish this could have turned out differently. Jackson, please come with us. Please, Jackson! Alessandra, Toshiro, Mitchell, what are you doing? Chief of Base Waller, please sit rep, and your sit rep, please. Bishop Kane, at 0600, operative codename Battalion assaulted Swigrid base. Upon arrival, he used his battle suit against operative codename Winter with intent to do harm. A non-custodial interview with Battalion determined that operative codename Hellstrike, whose death I kept investigating, I am investigating kept unauthorized records of Swigert operations. You treacherous Jackson! You have put on that suit for the last time. You fire another side blast in here, and I'll lock you up. Notice how she played him!
Oh, yeah.
They made you Inspector General after threatening you with prison. It was an empty threat. Take away the battalion suit wasn't. And even so, putting you in charge of Checkmate's international investigations, I still had pulling Checkmate. I got the same face. They don't care about the IG, but it was somewhere I could still check her. Check Amanda. Okay, and you called her Adeline? Adeline Kane. She's been Waller's benefactor, but look, she's not the issue. What happened to her? Waller matters here, not me, not Adeline. A black site chief who's taking control of Checkmate. So if Waller got promoted, is she still torturing people? It's past that now. El Salvador, 6 months later. We get Grifter, basically a bunch of other characters from Wildstorm. Oh, gee, they just gun a bunch of people all to come to take this kid who has powers and take out his family. Oh, and there's Deathstroke.
Ooh.
They're looking at it like,
oh, that's nice.
Why wouldn't Waller need to torture any people anymore? Amanda's ambitions are larger than that. There was an operation in Gomorrah. Checkmate was here. Amanda's people were here. What's Checkmate's knowledge? What I'm saying is that Waller is taking over Checkmate. The foul shit she does, it's about to be all Checkmate does. Oh my God, what am I looking at? The work of Waller's favorite contractor, one of the worst pieces of shit ever smeared across Checkmate. He may be the deadliest too. Okay, but what about her? Her name is Katrina Cooper Ortino, and I don't even know where she is. Virginia, 2 weeks ago. He's in here, was blind drunk when we picked him up. Put a guy in traction. Craig, get up. A source came to me with an account for investigation. Said that Amanda authorized a rendition. He was really messed up over it. He was the kidnapper? My sources, first off, this wasn't a kidnapping. This was a rendition. You report on this, you should know the difference. I know it perfectly well. It's a rendition when we do it, and a kidnapping when someone in Washington doesn't does it. Now hold on, Miss Lane. Actually, you know what? Thank you. It's good to know when a journalist can't tell the good guys from the bad guys. Whoa, okay, look, when was this? This was very recently. Can I please just tell you what I'm here to tell you, Ms. Lane? Sorry, go on. The trail led back here. Gomorrah, 1 week ago. I don't know what exactly I thought I'd find. In retrospect, I was emotional. Whatever was behind this door, all I thought was it could finally stop her. It had to. Katrina hadn't done anything to Amanda. Probably never thought much about Gomorrah. But some years ago, she paid a lot of money to have a suite of cybernetic implants surgically grafted to her body. And Amanda, she wanted those enhancements. Damn!
Ooh. Oh, that is grisly.
Jesus, why did she want Yumiko Gomorrah? Her father was an asshole and a peacock, but at the end of the day, he was about quiet. His daughter's a different story. Yumiko wants to enhance herself. Most efficient thing to do, finish off her opposition. Amanda's her supplier. Read that for yourself. It's all in there. But please, read fast. It's important we move quickly. Just a couple more questions. You said all this happened in a year. How'd you go in 1 year from starting out at a black site to kidnapping and dissection on behalf of a foreign leader in waiting? That's not what matters here. Miss Lane, if you don't write this story fast, because either she's had the most metronic rise of bureaucratic history or something's wrong with your story. What I've been trying to tell you is that someone willing to traffic metahuman parts is taking over Checkmate. That sure is the story you've been telling me, but the story you've described to me is about Checkmate being so rotted that someone like this could take it over in a year. This was a mistake. No, hang on. I knew this was a mistake. All this time, Checkmate's been allowed to use the strategic weapons of metahuman ability. No other agency has made that mandate legal. As long as there's a Checkmate, isn't it a matter of time before someone like Amanda becomes queen? So when did America build a weapon it doesn't extort? That's bullshit. Nigel was Checkmate to the bone. You're the sophisticated reporter, but all you're saying is that we're all the same. All our choices don't matter. No, I'm not saying that at all. No, you're just, no, you are. You're just a coward about it. You have the folder. If you care about writing the truths. No, one more thing. You said you don't know where Katrina is, but you do know where her enhancements went. You're an inspector general. Did you investigate what happened to her? You were only investigating Amanda Waller, weren't you? Fuck you, Lois Lane. Good luck with your agenda. Oh, and she just throws up from all the stress. How many stories are you gonna ruin? Why can't you just shut your mouth? Waller.
Oh, I can feel that in the depths of my soul, but that feels so Lois, that it's painful.
Yep, you're not gonna believe who just walked out of here. So how was that first issue?
I like that a lot.
What do you think about this political... Again, it's a political thriller.
I like how it's told from the perspective of Lois trying to suss this whole story out as best as she can, and it's just a whole bunch of mess.
And get this the guy, one of the writers here is a national security reporter for the Daily Beast.
That makes a lot of sense. That a lot of it managed to like feel like it had this like edge of realness to it, and it's just like, oh, these highly specific details about what was able to come up in the investigation versus, hey, but how come you knew this thing as opposed to this thing? That doesn't.
And knowing the right different words to use.
Yeah, it's just, that's a very good example of writing what you know. I like it.
And I should say it's an espionage thriller.
Ah, that makes sense.
That's what I meant. It's fun. I suppose it's time for my final task at Metrobank. Right. I suppose so, Madam-elect. I'll miss this place. We accomplished so much here. We leveraged a military relationship into so much more. And that was thanks to your foresight, Amanda. It feels like the promise of America has finally arrived in my country. Madam President-elect, to help a visionary leader guide her people to prominence in the region, Checkmate considers that the honor of America arriving in your country. Well, I drink to you, Amanda. May our friendship be a lever to move history. And to sink, Madam President-elect, we've barely gotten started. Ping, 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 touchdown. For now, we should walk. The view up here is truly stunning. The horizon over the bay seems to go on forever. In the summer at sunset, it feels like the harbor holds the whole Pacific. You'll have to sneak back up to the suite to see it. I doubt I'll be that lucky. The engineers have spent too much time building out the station around the loading dock. The next time I'm in Gamora, I won't see much beyond the receivable department. Not that I expect to be back soon, Madam President-elect. Yes, a shame about that. No doubt Washington has less peripheral destinations for you and mine. Madam President-elect, Gamora is nothing of the sort. That wasn't what I meant. Only that once you complete a project, they tend not to allow you follow-ups. You will always have a home here. The people may never know your name, but you guaranteed their prosperity. Only because you protected them. Commander Kamarov, if you wouldn't mind, Gamora's new hero has arrived. The cybernary chassis, of course, have been piloted before. Our technicians, Checkmate Commander Kamarov and Mr. Wilson there will be on site for what we will call left seat, right seat training to familiarize you with its operation. They're also equipped to perform maintenance and certify your team on upkeep of the model. They can also provide you with telemetry from the previous pilot, unless that's a problem. It's not. Obviously, there's a matter of the surgeries. Is this the control interface? It is, ma'am. Delicate. Surely not so delicate if you're going to attach its nose to my skull. We've concentrated the ports to the base of the skull. They run upward behind the jaw and into the ear cavity. There's an inevitable cosmetic effect, but you already wear your hair down. But just to pose this as an option, Madam President-elect, Mr. Wilson is one of very few people trained on cybernary chassis operations. He's on contract here. There are many advantages to hiring a contractor to pilot the device. I'm familiar with Mr. Wilson's reputation. He may train me, but I will pilot the cybernary. In a banker's world, the soul can cry out for a venture. Do you have my briefing book? I didn't stop at station after getting off the plane. Then we better stop off before flying back. What the fuck is this? We've been hit! They got into the station as we built out the new one, but they didn't take the cybernary system. Boxes were in the trucks when Slade plane got us here. No reason to enter station. The old cybernetic pilot, she's gone. They took the body after the medical team removed the chassis. Jesus. New plan. You're staying here. Get into the vents. There's got to be a camera, an infrared, or mic left around here. Get me something I can use. Ping, ping, ping. God damn it. What now? Adeline, it took forever to get a secure line. Someone hit to say, Amanda, just let me talk. They suspended me today. What? It's King. He moved against us. I'm done. It was a mistake to let him be Inspector General. Does Yomiko have it? She does. But Adeline, please listen, and please listen. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter, Amanda. If she has it, we win. Now listen, King has a file. You need to neutralize it, however you can. This just has to stay quiet a little longer. Miss Waller, would you mind coming with us, please? Commander King, you're an Inspector General, not a sheriff. None of you have any legal authority to take me into custody. That's right, ma'am. I'm not arresting you. If I was taking you into custody, I'd be dressed differently. Does this mean you do not consent to an interview material to an ongoing OIG, Officer of the Inspector General investigation? I can report that to the weatherman, but when we schedule, it'll be on his terms. No need for that. Fairfax and County, Virginia. This is where they put the legendary Jackson King. Looks like shit. Where you put me, you mean? You and Kamarov and Adeline Kane. Yeah, you're right, though. Place is nasty. Traffic giving to it and from it's even worse. That does sound frustrating. It's not like you can fly anywhere anymore, Commander King. Wow, not even in your office. I bet there's a regulation you're following for where we do this. Yeah? Then the thing about being Inspector General, you get really familiar with Checkmate rules and regulation. I would expect no less, Commander King. What do the rules say about how long you can keep me here? I'm going to start recording now. Like I said, it's not a custodial interview. You can leave when you want, but everything we say in here is an official record. State your name, please. I'm Checkmate Knight Amanda Waller. I acknowledge this an official record. Why have I been pulled off a Checkmate transport and taken at 0600 on November 3rd to an Inspector General's satellite office, Inspector General King? Do you remember Ignacio Rivas? Not offhand. You've been busy since Afghanistan. Let me refresh your memory. Someone from the Adeline Battalion told his trainer at Fort Bragg about an 8-year-old who made the trees grow. It usually happened when the boy was afraid. Now hold on. So Adeline sent Team 7 for him. They never told me his name, but I resettled that boy in the United States, Commander King. You sure did, without a special pituitary gland. By the time that boy came into my custody, that surgery had already happened. Checkmate doctors performed that surgery. Why am I here instead of them? Did you really see any telemetry from King-a.k.a for his powers, I mean? Any data at all? Yeah, I thought so. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out how you rose so high so fast. From a damn black site to Adeline's Knight, all in 1 year, until I figured out the problem you solved for Adeline. You brought her back from disgrace. Weaponizing meta abilities was her whole team's whole thing. She even did it to her husband. She's Deathstroke's wife. Turns out it's easy to transmit or replicate those abilities. Controlling them's a different story. Sometimes that suits Checkmate, but it'll never make the weatherman trust the process, or his practitioners. If only someone can map the sympathetic responses leading from stimulus to power release. That person sure would be giving Adeline everything she knew to get her human experiments back on track. Sure would make sense to put that person in charge of a black site. Really good and places to turn people into data. Your Checkmate rabbi isn't coming for you, Amanda. Adeline's suspended, if you didn't already know. Did she tell you the name Katrina Cupertino? How about her call sign, Cybernary? That ring a bell? All that data must have led to the wholesale upgrade of her system. The one you hacksawed off her. You killed a woman and then secretly exported a lethal enhancement to a foreign official. Also, what? Kazan Gamora's kid could play superhero? Why? I want you to know, Commander King, that I meant what I said to you in Afghanistan. Man, me and my whole family, you were our hero. Making Inspector General was a way to honor you. I didn't like taking your armor away from you, and couldn't have been a cybernetic chassis without the Battalion-class armor. We couldn't give Yumiko Gamora the Battalion. People have seen that. But Checkmate has a lot of contractors. Some of them are married to bishops. They know how to reverse engineer Checkmate systems. You just have to be willing to use what Checkmate offers you and to see see Checkmate for what it is. What Checkmate is? Checkmate doesn't export weaponized cybernetics, Miss Waller. And so I don't understand you. Gamora is already a partner. Yumiko doesn't need to conquer it. This was about money. Yes and no. This is about the way the world is about to be. The United States is on the verge of total victory in the Cold War. That means a lot of people in a lot of boardrooms are about to go on a hunt for anything they want, everywhere on the map. The world that's on its way is a savage place. Checkmate isn't going to stop the world. Most of the people here, they'll serve that world. You're right. Checkmate doesn't export cybernetic weapons, just regular weapons. It wouldn't make sense to export cybernetic weapons before Adeline's program proved its concepts. After that, Checkmate's infrastructure is ideal for putting an upgrade product on the market. A worldwide clientele, a tangle of contractors for deniability, a heroic mandate. Like, we're never going to have seen anything like the divide that's on its way between those who have and those who need. That's your Cold War trophy. The victory is going to fade, faster than anyone wants to sink right now. Yumiko sees that Gamora can be the anchor of the U.S. in the Pacific. Checkmate doesn't know it yet, but it needs her. And yes, it cost the cybernetic chassis. Is that all it cost, Amanda? This isn't as crude as wanting rubber or cobalt or ports. The businessmen and the admirals will come to Yumiko for sure, but Yumiko is going to make Gamora the financial powerhouse of the Pacific. From Gamora, we stop the future challenges to the United States by producing a real important resource: debt. Very soon, Checkmate's going to see the power our alliances gives it. Globally, the weatherman is going to see it too. Checkmate will have stations built into the banks that are about to lend Asia the money to build like never before. We'll be embedded into the entities that recoup that debt. When necessary, we'll collect that debt. What I did with Yumiko will keep America great for generations, Commander King. Because if America doesn't see itself as great, it will eat us alive. We don't have to be enemies. Nothing I'm doing is so different from what Checkmate's been doing. The difference is just scale, really. Adeline and I aren't as close as she thinks. She had a program and a set of connections. I saw its potential. I could get where I needed to be fast. She could get the credit. Remember what you said, Afghanistan, about how one of us needed to be up in the Skywatch where they sorted out the world? This is how we get up there. One of us. It doesn't make any sense to change the flow of a river. I don't want you to drown trying, Commander King. I wish I knew how to get you to believe me, because the river is going to flow regardless. You've known rivers, huh? Me too. I pull people out of them. Your way opens the floodgates on them. Quoting Langston while you do. Like, you don't understand what you're talking about. The floodgates are open. We've won the Cold War. The water's been rising. That suit you used to wear won't pull more than a few people out. My way is Checkmate's way, only bigger. You want to do things Checkmate's way? Sign this. What's this? A way out. This way you won't face charges. You motherfucker. There's barely anything here about Adeline. Why would you of all... You're not sparing Adeline. This report, you're sparing Checkmate. Motherfucker, if you think I'm taking the fall for this whole fucking thing... Amanda, how can you be taking the fall for anything? You just told me this was your plan. Don't you give me that bullshit. This report makes me out to be a rogue operative. And absolutely everything I did about Bishop and had a Bishop level approval. That kind of cover implicates a lot of people, and I'm the only one in your little report. Adeline thinks this was her fucking idea. This is why you had her suspended. This is why you moved on her first. Well, I also needed her network worried about her today. Not you. You're building a narrative, you coward. You're making it look like you rolled up my network, not that she gave me hers. Checkmate says yes when I ask Commander King. I don't have to manipulate anyone. That's what you can't handle. Your problem is the people you work for, not me. It doesn't matter what I can handle. What matters, Amanda, is that I can document. I gave you your way out, and this was your play. Who do you think Checkmate's going to side with? That's enough. Welcome to the part of the interview that isn't voluntary. Have you lost your mind? You bring a merc squad into what you said was a voluntary interview? The second I see a judge, he'll know this was illegal. Or are they here to kill me? Hero, they're taking you to the Checkmate brig. Your lawyers will see you. This isn't a prosecution. The Inspector General is empowered in exigent circumstances like an interviewee confessing to spearheading a criminal conspiracy against Checkmate in the United States to direct non-law enforcement detentions, rules and regulations. Death Trap, you're a blue badge. Take a look at the communicators they issued. What am I looking at? Press the button on the side and it'll project. As you can see, that is the Team 7 operative Michael Clay with Checkmate Inspector General King here, murdering 2 Checkmate colleagues from the Office of Medical Services at Gomorrah City Station. Colleagues, I'm Amanda Waller, Knight of Checkmate. Arrest Battalion! Hell yeah, you don't even got the suit or not. Ah, shit! Why do you morons think we gave him the... Yeah, go right the fuck ahead, King. I dare you. Hit me, you fucking coward. See what happens. See what the fuck happens. I've been part of Checkmate my whole life, Waller. I don't need to hit you to stop. Well, can one of you fucking help? Get the flasher. Restrain him. He'll hurt himself with that shit scrambling his eyes. I gave you a way out. You did this yourself. Tragic. Crazy as day when you gotta bring Jackson King into custody. Don't worry, Battalion. Your team is here. Jackson! Christine, you came for me. Of course we came, Miko. We're Stormwatch. Yeah, well, I was outvoted. How did you? When you didn't come home last night, I went to your office. I didn't want you falling asleep driving home after an all-nighter. When you weren't there, I knew you'd been taken. And who took you? So I grabbed every file I could from the conference room. Christine, Checkmate is over. Everything. Our life. Oh, baby, no. We're Stormwatch. Checkmate only sponsors us. We decide what our life is. Listen to me. They took Nigel from us. We have to go to Gomorrah to end this. There's a reporter there on assignment. Lois Lane. She needs to see it. So this is what happened beforehand. Are you sure about that?
That makes more sense.
Giving a reporter something this explosive? I asked certain people if there was any journalist they trust. Her name came back to me. They murdered Hellstrike. We have to expose them, or something. Winter's got to do, or something. Winter's got to go. All right, but I do this alone. My life with Checkmate is already over. Stormwatch needs to continue, and this has been personal. I thought you'd say that, so I packed you something else. His armor. So again, how is that? This whole espionage thriller.
Ooh, this had me on the edge of my seat the whole time, more or less.
Everybody needs just a bunch of talking!
Yes, it is. That's very true. But it all feels very real.
It does. That's the way I like about this.
It's like, yeah, I could totally believe that if their cybernetics were a real thing, that this is exactly the kind of chicanery they'd get involved to in the actual, like...
Especially post-Cold War.
Oh yeah, post-Cold War especially.
Yeah. Shield! Oh, look at that!
Oh wow, that's a nice spread.
Yep. Just looks like memories. Gomorrah City, 3 kilometers. Hey, excuse me, forget about the hotel. Can you let me out of here? Hi, sorry to bother you. Do you work here? My name's Lois Lane, and I'm a reporter for the Daily Planet. Yeah? Good for you. Pardon me, but are you American? Fuck no. What I am doing and what I am is done with work. Nice meeting you. Wait, please, just 1 second. I promise. By any chance, did someone named Katrina Cupertino work here? What is this? Who are you? I'm a reporter. So you know this woman? Oh, Jesus. Fine, but we can't talk here. And for all I know, they bugged my car. Guess we're walking into town. God damn it. Thank you so much, Mr. My name's Jacob Marlowe, and her name isn't Katrina Cupertino. Checkmate is going to see the power our alliance gives it globally. The Weatherman's going to see it too. Checkmate will have stations built into the banks that are about to lend Asia the money. Honestly, Adeline owes you. When you hear about how they came up with Crown of Horns, you're going to demand a percentage of the thing she's doing here. Hello? I didn't order room, sir. What the fuck was that? Some subtle professionalism. Slade, does that at least mean Tango down? If he doesn't come rocketing down here to beat my ass, then yeah. Slade, Amanda's running this operation. Stop being rude. Yes, dear. Sorry, dear. I'm sorry, dear. Amanda, this is something Slade is good at. Why, Adeline, am I off the couch? Let's see how well behaved you are in Gamora. He blew up a hole in the Intercontinental right when Yumiko most needs calm, Adeline. This is what Slade does well. Watch yourself, Waller, and calm down. This thing doesn't leave casings or frag. Just say it's a gas leak. Everyone will believe that about a shithole country like this. Really, Amanda, don't worry. Yumiko owns the only reputable newspaper here, and Checkmate funds at least 2 tabloids. Actually, speaking of, Slade, your idea for that reporter. Absolutely not. Forget that. He's not down. Oh, Slade! Slade, get away from that yacht. Do not involve civilians. Ah! Adeline, control your goddamn husband. Ship sinking, King. You and me gonna end this. Or are you gonna save them? Please. I don't want to die, sir. Thought so. There goes my offer, King. And you have to be, you could have been rich, you dumb fuck. And King got away. This is a fiasco. So much for blaming on a gas leak. Amanda, you don't talk to me like that, ever. Especially when he's on the line. You told Slade I was in charge. I told Slade you were in charge of this operation. Thank you, and thank you for your service. So this is how it ends for the great battalion, huh? 10 days earlier, stuck in a basement giving pop quizzes to the people doing the real work. This won't take long, Slade. I know it won't, King. My man Billy here is going to make sure of that. Spend enough time as a contractor, and you get used to non-custodial interviews with the Inspector General, boys. Billy says it's about a girl. That right, big man? Something like that. Look familiar, Slade? Because that was taken at your last rendition, Fairy. Oh, hey, her. Crown of Horns, we called her. You talk to the project manager about whatever this is? Checkmate writes the task orders. I just drive the delivery truck. Here's the thing about Katrina and Cupertino, Slade. You know her. For the task order? Nah, wouldn't forget a chick with an electrode sticking out of her head. Cupertino Human Resources. Your Gamorrean and subcontractor. Little Bird told me she came to them from you. And that sure is weird. Huh, Slade? That's it, we're leaving. No, wait a minute, Billy. This is easy to clear up. Sometimes we'll recommend a talented seasonal worker for a better paying job at one of our subs in places like Gamora. Good opportunity for them. Do I remember Crown of Horns before her special coronation? No, but that's probably what happened. Cupertino will back me up on that. And I have a feeling Checkmate will vouch for Cupertino. Easy call when your wife is the bishop in charge of tailored access ops. But one more thing, Slade. The reimbursement for the Diaz logistical flight where you grabbed Cybernary lists you as the sole operator. You did the capture operation and flew all that way with no co-pilot. What? Let me see that. No way. Adeline isn't leaving me with the bill for her superhero sushi platter. You talked to Michael Cray? You little birdie? Adeline said she had some operation going to enhance and Kazin Gamora's daughter, but the enhancements needed to be collected from the pilot. Me and Cray collected. But look, big man, you can't fight Adeline. Take it from her husband. Might as well fight the weatherman. Come work for me. I can add a couple of zeros to that checkmate check. Enough that I don't give a fuck about saying that on tape. Who knows? Maybe I can even get you back in your suit again. Honestly, Adeline owes you. When you hear about how they came up with the Crown of Horns, you're going to demand a percentage of this thing she's doing here. Anyway, think about it, big man. You know how you get back at these fuckers? You bill their asses. Wow, I've never been a place like this. I've been places you wouldn't believe, but I really like the night market they have here. And the crowd means we can talk freely. These Checkmates and Cupertino people are sickos, but I have other stuff going on, and that means I need to be inside a place like Cupertino. And that means you can't write your story in a way to suggest you have a guy on the inside. This is the greatest thing I've ever tasted. Oh my God. That's no problem, Mr. Marlowe. We usually put it like according to a source familiar. Does that work? How should I know? Just don't don't fuck me over here. Her name was Katrina Cupertino. Cupertino is a metahuman chop shop. They take people in bad situations. Lure them in with the promise of making fast money through getting enhancements. Cupertino is also a proving ground for human weapons. They catalog different power sets alphabetically and market them to various unsavory characters. The woman in your picture is named Ivana Bayo. Katrina Cupertino is a category, a proprietary technology, the cybernary enhancements. Ivana was real smart. In a different world, she would have run an intelligence agency. In this one, she was broke. She took a job in an unfamiliar country with a defense contractor promising big bucks, ended up in debt to the contractor, so it told Ivana about Cupertino. Get out of debt fast by surgically grafting stuff to you that makes you a living weapon. But then you have to be used the way Cupertino's clients direct you, and Ivana didn't want to be used. Doesn't sound like what you said, and doesn't sound from what you said like she had a choice. That's what I'm saying. Cupertino was going to be out a lot of money if it couldn't bring its Katrina-class unit to market. Out of nowhere, the contractor who delivered Ivana to Cupertino calls. Says if Cupertino can get her to someplace inconspicuous, he'll snatch her and get a buyer from the cybernary like they wouldn't believe. Guy's really connected. Checkmate connected. Like he said, his wife was going to do this deal with. I don't want to say her name out here, but the woman from the bank who's about to run this place. I'm going to strangle Lombard until he begs to get put on the sports desk. Cupertino bought her a spa reservation and plane ticket. Said she should have a weekend off to think things over. The guy and his goon were waiting. That's all I know. It's a ton, and thank you so much. But I have to ask, you all know, and how you all know all this? You're a janitor. Like I said, I have my own thing going. It means I have to keep my eye on what's shaping up to be a metahuman arms trade, quietly. You pay much attention to the guy who empties your trash at the Daily Planet, Miss Lane? No? Look, that's fair. This is astonishingly specific. So I have to ask you how you know all this. Before I go, there's something else you might not think a janitor would know. This whole scheme is the kind of shit that gets you made weatherman, if you can pull it off. But don't put my name in the paper, Lois. Got your ass. Get that shit off. I'm going to see your face when I kill you, boy. Then you should have learned how to fly without the suit. Bye, big man. Oh!
Ooh.
Waller, I have eyes on the reporter. Oh, no. Oh, no. No. Slade, stop right the fuck now. Slade, you cannot kill a Daily Planet reporter. She interviewed the terrorist. We're up on her comm. Or did you forget that? Slade, it's Adeline. Stop right now. Big fucking mistake, girls. Have fun learning that lesson. Mommy, please, wake up. Wake up. Don't be like that. Look at it this way. We won. We won the moment Yumiko got the cybernary chassis. Today confirms it. King was our last obstacle. You did it, and you did this, Amanda. You got Yumiko the cybernary. You got rid of the obstacle. It's time for you to meet the weatherman. It's time people know what Amanda Waller has done for this country. He dropped it!
Oh!
Last one. Gamora City. For generations, long before the rise of K's and Gamora, or his alliances with Washington, Perusian warriors' greatest weapon was the land itself. Invaders and tyrants might hold the coastline of the islands formerly known as Perusia, but conquering it would require them to fight through the triple canopy jungle of the island's interiors, and then up a fortified mountain range. The map outlined a geography of power. Kazan accepted ruling the shores and the bay, but his inability to subdue the interior limited his ambitions for his renamed Republic of Gamora. Kazan Gamora's daughter and successor, Yumiko, is even more ambitious. Her agenda to develop Gamora into a regional powerhouse is shared by her benefactors, United States. So are her frustrations. In a recent interview, the masked guerrilla general known as Wrong warned that this geography will doom the presidency of her declared enemy of Yumiko Gamora. Perusia belongs to whomever Perusia shelters, she told the Daily Planet, and Perusia devours whomever Perusia exposes. But Wrong and her Perusian Liberation Army could not have anticipated that Yumiko, aided by U.S. intelligence agencies Checkmate, could make the land betray them. Boom! A trove of international documented and audio tapes obtained by the Daily Planet and corroborated by sources with first-hand knowledge revealed that Checkmate, once the civil rights agency and still the only U.S. government entity legally authorized to employ metahuman abilities, kidnaps, tortures, and mutilates metahumans. For at least a year, Checkmate has trafficked extracted metahumans' abilities to the U.S. clients overseas, King-a.k.a. Oh! The files show that Checkmate dispatched a special operation team to El Salvador to capture Ignacio Rivas, an 8-year-old boy rumored to control jungle growths. An after-action report refers to the presence of surgeons from Checkmate's medical staff. There's no report of the boy's whereabouts. A source familiar with such operations told the Daily Planet that a Checkmate subcontractor located in Gamora, Cupertino Human Resources, specialized in the surgical extraction and implantation of a metahuman ability. Most important of all, the Checkmate's plans for Gamora was a young woman named Ivana Bayo. Ivana Bayo was trafficked into CHR and coerced into implanting cybernary enhancements. As cybernary, Bayo was made strong, fast, and uncommonly agile. Operating through a contractor senior, Checkmate officials kidnapped Bayo and forced her to remove what documents refers to as the cybernary chassis. Less mystically, Checkmate dismembered Ivana Bayo and then provided her cybernetic body parts to include 30% of her skull to Yumiko Gamora. And there she is in the suit!
Oh, damn.
To impress its customers, Checkmate even upgraded the chassis. The agency added flight and psionic blast capabilities, modified from the armor of its heralded superhero Battalion, whose shocking recent deaths directly resulted from this operation. The documents do not record why Checkmate mutilated a human being, except for the PLA in the mountains. Yumiko's regime and its U.S. alliance is unchallenged in Gamora. But at a PLA training camp last week, General Wrong offered a theory. Yumiko, a banker turned president, seeks to open Gamora to a flood of foreign investments enabled by the end of the Cold War. And a stubborn guerrilla group living in the mountains, Wrong assessed threaten the investment climate. Capital is coming, Wrong told the Daily Planet. And Checkmate Inspector General Adeline Kane, formerly known as Battalion, also had a theory, one that pervades a still classified report obtained by the Daily Planet. Despite copious evidence of Checkmate's systematic, years-long human rights violation, the report claims metahuman aid to Yumiko Gamora was a rogue operation. The person whom the Inspector General alleges is the lead rogue has experienced a metric rise at the intelligence agency over the past year. A Checkmate knight known as Amanda Waller. The planet goes on, Mr. Chairman. Waller's rise is indeed noteworthy. In over a year, she went from commanding a remote Checkmate base in Afghanistan to playing a central role in one of the most audacious operations in agency history. Yet, whatever Inspector General King's theory, the fact he documented established that Waller's power derived from another, Adeline Kane, a rival of Kings and Kings and a power center within Checkmates, considered the agency's legalized monopoly of the metahuman market to be ripe for export as a lever for U.S. foreign policy. Kane's interest was as much financial as strategic. Her husband, Slade Wilson, operates DS Logistics, a major Checkmate contractor, and the firm that saddled Bio, its employee, with so much workplace that it trafficked her to the CHR. We keep ending up back here, Miss Kane. This is the third hearing we've had to hold over your metahuman experiments. Director Craven was international operations part of this? No, Senator. In Title 50 expressly prohibits IO from using metahuman. Checkmate is in its Title 10 and Title 10 authorities is the only agency within the intelligence community that can. And how Adeline may have swerved into IO's lane, but maybe that just shows it's time to rethink the metahuman prohibition. Mr. Chairman, Gamora was my operation. And Cupertino Human Resources did not tell us anything about the previous cybernary pilot. We thought those pilots simply made sure the chassis worked. It was a serious error, and they will no longer be Checkmate subcontractors. The Inspector General placed Bishop Kane on administrative leave weeks ago. If it was her operation, its authorities would have expired upon her leave. Reinstating them would, of course, require a recorded vote of the committee. Rules and regulation. I'm sorry, Miss Waller. I respect you taking responsibility, but let's be real here. Metahuman enhancements is Bishop Kane's signature. Some might say obsession. She wasn't involved, and what she wasn't involved, the Daily Planet said her husband, the prime contractor, implicated her. I'm her deputy because we agree, Senator. The Daily Planet has its bid, but it was my initiative. Battalion was right. Yes, it's good of you to mention the national hero who died in the course of your operation. If it was your operation, Senator, Everyone at Checkmate mourns Commander King. Battalion was more than a hero. He was a symbol. That made it painful for us to see him pursue vendetta as Inspector General. Not everyone holds the job they should. Thank you, Bishop Kane. I'm satisfied. Mr. Chairman, we've barely... Tom, the other lady, took responsibility. Bishop Kane, Miss Waller, this committee cannot read about things like this in the newspaper. Can't happen. The other business with the girl, that can't happen either. But I hope that once the press moves on, we can recognize that you did something big here, Adeline. You too, Miss Waller, just like you said. Gamora will secure the Asian market, maybe even China someday. Hell, with the Ruskies out of the way, it's a whole new world. We're adjourned. Bishop Kane, Miss Waller, thank you for your service. Can I just say how long I've held back the urge to sick slide on Wydal, but turns out this was so much better. Now, why do I sick on Slade for ratting, and who do I sick on Slade for ratting me out the king? Hey, listen, I'm never going to get you took this bullet from me. I know the paper smeared you, but people forget in these things. You watch Ollie North, and you watch. Ollie North is going to have a TV show one day. Maybe if the reporter wrote it the way King wanted it, you'd be in trouble. But she's mad on the system, so I was the bigger bad guy. Here, maybe think of it like this. I know you like to tell people that Gamora and Yumiko were your ideas. Now that we have that in the committee record, give me one of those. Good girl. It stings now, I know, but I have a surprise for you. We're going to see the Weatherman right now. We did a historic thing, Gamora, and it's time we got rewarded. Now, I gotta say, this is bad art. This is bad here.
Yeah, that's just kind of awkward.
I get what it's going for, but they didn't color it right. You might be running Checkmate by the end of the day. I might even be Weather Woman in waiting. Ah, great and good. They're here to greet us. Adeline, so lovely to see you. Molly, it's been too long. Angie, so good to see you too. Miss Waller, I'm Molly Perkins. I'm the chief of analysts on Skywatch. Miss Speaka and I are here to get you aboard. I'm sorry, aboard? Aboard a satellite? You'll be amazed the trip up to Skywatch goes faster than you expect. Checkmate has astronauts that... Not quite. That's Majestic, the Wildstorm Superman.
Ooh.
This is Majestro. He'll be ferrying us 22 miles that way. But it's not exactly 22 miles. Once we get positioning telemetry from Skywatch, we'll calculate a flight trajectory to the geosynchronous orbit. Either way, smoke now, because you can't when we're on Skywatch. But there's no time to smoke. This is the ignition key for something Angie engineered for near space travel. Put this in your ear. Press it until you hear the click, and the coating will activate. It can withstand vacuum pressures and extreme cold, and it's already stored up enough oxygen to last the trip. I promise it'll be over before you know it. Whoosh! And was that something? I love seeing people take the flight for the first time. It's my privilege to take you to the Weatherman. This is our watch hall. I should be making them salute, but that's not how we do things here. Adeline's heard me say this, but we collect data from every satellite in geosynchronous and geostationary orbit. There's nothing we can't get. So while Checkmate performs tailored access operations below, up here, we do wholesale access. Oh, I forgot to mention, Miles Craven is going to be in this meeting. I wasn't sure if you were aware. You're sweet to mention it, but this might be the only time I want Craven in my presence. But if Craven wasn't with us, he took a portal. It's macho bullshit. They need to make us fly onto Skywatch or they don't respect us. Amanda, follow my lead in there. Ladies, this meeting is above my pay grade, and the Weatherman only sees cleared personnel. Thank you, Dr. Perkins. Adeline, it's been too long. What a triumph you engineered. And I understand it's your victory too, Miss Waller. Majestro, I know you've met, and of course, Miles here. Do you know His Excellency Gazen Gamora? No, hello. It's an honor, sirs. Please relax. We're all friends here. I doubt the Senate is able to conceptualize what you've achieved building on Kazan's sturdy foundation. Gamora will give us financial control in the East Asian market. We'll be everywhere from Seoul to the Himalayas. The Pacific Ocean is now an American lake. All the focus is on Moscow and the question of Eastern Europe. But you saw that Europe contains the spirit of the 20th century and Asia the spirit of the 21st century. You have ensured it will be an American century. There are moments when it feels like history is open for the taking. It was an honor to help a visionary leader like your daughter, Excellency. Yumiko, a visionary. Pah! Interesting. You don't think so? My daughter respects neither the mountains of Gamora nor the people sheltered by them. She can conquer them, but they will never stay conquered. Now she is yoked to subdue them forever. Please do not misunderstand me. Checkmate's plan is flawless. You should enjoy your victory. Yumiko does not see that she has made herself dependent upon Checkmate. The people, given time, will find the flaws in her enhancement. What else can she do but come to Checkmate for more? You are wise to exploit her. She believes herself unbound by her history. She is like you in that respect, though she's left you with a problem, I understand. His Excellency refers to a point you were discussing earlier. Your plan was so elegant, Adeline, that it exposed an internal enemy we must now deal with. Stormwatch. Battalion is dead, Miss Waller. What would you suggest we do with his disobedient friends? I would give Stormwatch to the United Nations. And breaking up the team would only increase the danger from each of them, since they'd have nothing to lose. They would see the UN as a clear break from you that puts them under a higher authority. Yes, they don't understand that the UN will be an adjacent of American power rather than a constraint on them. Should there be a US-UN conflict, I'm sure the people aboard this satellite will make clear to Stormwatch exactly where they are on the food chain. Yes, that's just... Oh, exactly. Adeline, where did you find her? Just 1 year ago, Amanda here was an analyst in one of my black sites. She showed me connections no one else was making. We hit it off from there. I wouldn't have done all this without her. Yes, about that. The plan was great. No one disagrees with that. But this was an international operations turf. You know me, Adeline. I don't like to get territorial. Everything's a great team win. But U.S. relations with His Excellency have been an IO matter since before there was a checkmate. Miles, you are right, of course. You have my word that IO will be a full partner on the Yumiko Gamora portfolio. That's a good place to turn to our business. We need to leave this table having restructured the intelligence community. Magestro, it's the Daemonites, ladies and gentlemen. Many of you know I'm from a planet called Kira, where we've been at war with the Daemonites for thousands of years. Last month, Skywatch picked up some anomalous readings, an energy fluctuating over Antarctica. One that matched a flare-up in 1980 from an interstellar incursion. This is our Cold War, and this is our Cold War, divided people. These Daemonites mean to make us a staging ground for their eon-old interdimensional war. Are we configured internally to counter things like that? Your turf dispute, I think, shows we're not. You know I brought this up, obviously not the thing about the aliens, but I brought up IO's lack of authority to deploy metahuman abilities in this morning's hearing, and perhaps you're not serious. Henry, this alien means to use you for his distant war. He says some wave fluctuation resembles some other wave fluctuation, and you're ready to use Stormwatch against those his people once oppressed? Now look here. Magestro, please. Excellency, I recognize the magnitude of this revelation, but there's even a 1% chance, Henry, for all we know, those wars occurring untold light years away could have ended before any of us were born. If there's even 1% chance, then we are obligated to treat it as a certainty. I've seen what these Daemonites do. This isn't hypothetical for me. I mean no disrespect, Mr. Magestro. You are a patriot at war. You do as you must. In these Americans, you have certainly found kindred spirits. It's not for me to interfere in your affairs. He has no other option, Excellency. It doesn't matter whether the Daemonites are going to invade or not. It's not about our analysis or finding a preponderance of evidence. A weatherman acts. Perfectly put, Adeline. We have no choice but to adjust to this new reality. It's time we integrate IO and Checkmate. Break down the walls entirely. No more meta prohibitions on IO. We sell that to the Hill in return for no more Checkmate escapades abroad. One seamless community. No more archaic rules for a Cold War that doesn't exist anymore. But we keep Checkmate's civil rights mandate. We trap IO in it. Adeline, in recognition of a job well done, you will lead Checkmate into this new era. You will report to Miles, of course. What? IO is naturally the bureaucratic parent. It makes sense. I delivered the Western Pacific in this country. 40 years of Cold War couldn't do it. I did it in one. And you expect me to take orders? That's exactly what I expect, Adeline. Not an outburst over a promotion. This honors your achievement in Gamora. It's not her achievement. It's mine. You treacherous! Bishop Kane's infrastructure within Checkmates was crucial, that's true. But she couldn't figure out how to make a subject metabolize and control the enhancements until I showed her my data. I cultivated Yumiko Gamora, and Adeline was unfamiliar with her. With the island, its strategic importance. These are very serious allegations. Adeline, whose operation was Gamora? Henry, this is insane. She was at a black site when I found her, for God's sake. The mission was what mattered. The way to accomplish it was to let Bishop Kane think it was her idea. Think it through, Adeline. It's what you had me put in the Senate committee record this morning. And now that I see this new threat from the Damonites, it would be irresponsible to stay silent. So, and no passivity in the face of danger from you, Miss Waller. Henry, you can't possibly buy this performance. What an opportunity this Damonite threat has proven to be. But in truth, my daughter never mentioned a white woman to me. All right, we don't want to make this meeting to become unproductive. Maestro, why don't you fly Checkmate's new queen back to her office? But yeah, so heads out. Expertly done, Miss Waller. Now I shall be the next into space. Terrestrial destinies are not for Gaze and Gamora. Yumiko may rule my island as America hunts demons. I shall master the cosmos. Henry, you are like my daughter. Neither of you listen, and both of you must have everything there is. Your relationship will prosper for as long as you have others to eat. Farewell. Thank you for your insight, Your Excellency. May our paths again cross. Now, Amanda, you were able to stabilize metahuman implantation. Indeed, sir. The brainstem is the key. Implementation, the base of the brain. Good, good. I'd like to show you an idea of mine. Ever hear of the Louisiana Bayou? A prison? Well, Adeline said you ran a black site, correct? Quite the brutalist building, I know, but the bayou itself is lovely. Belle Reve is built on one of the Terrebonne Parish's grandest estates. That's what you're all calling them now? A grand estate with a prison on it? This is a place to stockpile these metas. Using your control process, we can generate assets. What's that supposed to do against the Damonites? Henry, does she think we're going to make her weatherman? But the Western Pacific, I delivered that to the United States. Miles, that's uncalled for. Amanda, what you did was remarkable. That's exactly why I can't let your towns go to waste. Mr. Majestic will return soon to escort you home. The stars are such a sight from up here. You should see them while you can. The trip back down goes faster than you'd expect. On its own terms, the Gamora operation succeeded beyond expectation. Days after Yumiko's eradication of the PLA, she issued a new decree on foreign investments. Major U.S. chartered corporations have flocked to Gamora, but these are not the only terms for understanding what Checkmate has done. It was not possible to locate and Rivas, nor could the Daily Planet investigate Yumiko's operation in the mountains, as Gamora ceased issuing visas to journalists. But at the southern edge of Brooklyn, many people love and remember Ivana Bayou. As a child, Ivana was one of thousands who immigrated from Ukraine to Brighton Beach in the 1970s. She was a chess champion 3 years in a row. Abraham Lincoln High School chartered a yellow bus to take her to the statewide tournament in Albany. Unable to afford college, Ivana took a job with a defense contractor, Diaz Logistics, that promised high-paying work in the exciting locales. Diaz Logistics neglected to mention that it would charge Ivana a recruitment fee. Once in a country like Gamora, according to a source familiar with the arrangement, Diaz would pay its workers the local minimum wage. Caught in a debt trap, thousands of miles from home, Ivana wrote to her parents not to worry. Diaz told Ivana about Cupertino Human Resources, according to a letter to her parents viewed by the Daily Planet. Within a year, I can pay off my fees and come home, she wrote them. That was the last Ivana's parents heard from her. Like most people, her parents, Larissa and Adriel Bayou, vaguely knew Checkmate from the news. Gamora was a mere dot on the map until it was their daughter's return address. Upon hearing of the geopolitical gambit that sacrificed her daughter, Andrea said that while he loved his new home, he expected no justice from his intelligence agencies. We are not people to those who would play with history, he told the Daily Planet. They could not live with themselves if we were. How was that?
That was really, really good. Sorry I didn't say much. I was just focusing a lot on the story.
Trouble!
Yes, he says hi.
So what did you think overall of it?
I liked that a lot.
Again, mostly talking, but it
It
works.
was yeah, it had a lot of layers and it felt really real with the kind of stuff I know that governments can get up to behind the scenes. And it feels like, yeah, if there were some people that had superpowers, this feels like exactly the kind of stuff that would develop in the background.
But even the fact that a Waller did not get what she wanted.
Yeah.
After all that hard work, it amounted to her getting stuck with the suit. I wouldn't say nothing, but not what she wanted.
Yeah.
But eventually she's gonna, and we know what she'll do. She'll work her way back up again.
Mm-hmm.
With the Suicide Squad.
Indeed.
But what did you like best about this overall? From the story point of view, I mean. The artwork, incredible. That one panel aside.
Yeah, that kind of goes without saying, but I really like the through line of just. I mean, I mentioned it before, but I really like the through line of this getting reported on by Lois as sort of like the through line for like this whole thing and sort of like how it came to life, especially with all of the bits of the newspaper clippings from the newspaper article itself being interspersed with everything that's happening. And I think I also liked how at the very end they kind of pulled a reverse card on them and showed that it's like they're not as people who are pulling these conspiracies aren't as big as they think they are because there's a bigger fish out in the cosmos who's basically doing the exact same thing to them. So it just feels very poetic and makes a lot of sense.
But the funny thing is, though, King was right to tell Lois to focus on it, because they made it very clear earlier. If Lois had focused entirely on Waller like she should have, instead of going for the big picture, more damage would have been done. But she couldn't help herself.
Yep, it's Lois being Lois, and it's fantastic.
I mean, not saying what she did was wrong, obviously, but at the same time, because she still did damage to them, obviously.
But it's perfectly in character for Lois to do that.
Yeah, but I gotta say, the fact that this story, it's just a story. It doesn't even, I guess, because the ending kind of just ends. I wouldn't say it's anticlimactic, because you don't do that in these espionage stories, unless, so long as the program still continues forward, which clearly it is, there's no other way to end it, really.
And stuff like that in real life is never all of that nice, and if you think it is, then you're buying a story that somebody is selling.
I got a bridge to sell ya!
Yep. It's just I didn't think it was unsatisfying because it felt real and it felt very clear that this was written by somebody who understands the machinations of how this world worked. They just translated it to something a bit more fantastical, which makes it a lot more interesting.
Now, I will say this, though. This is clear for a niche audience.
Yes, I'm fully going to recognize that this is
way too much talking for a normal person.
Yeah, I'm fully going to admit that this is for a niche audience. I just happen to be one of the people that is in that niche audience.
I knew you would be. I knew you would be. But yeah, seriously, and the fact that, again, Lois told the fact we got her news story, that was a good, put everything on blast. And the fact that, this actually felt like a news story. It didn't feel like because there are times where you had people do news stories where it does from the first person perspective, which is like, that's an opinion piece, not front page news.
Yeah, it's just like that felt like a real article.
It did, because it kept it mostly, unbiased, mostly. And again, it even said to this reporter, not I. So what did you think about Waller throughout all of this? Now, did this give you an interesting understanding of her and how much of a bitch she is?
It's like, she's definitely a fascinating character. Not necessarily a likable one, but a fascinating one.
You see why she's called the Wall, right?
Yep, she don't take no shit from anybody.
But anyway, poor King.
Poor King, indeed.
Yeah. You notice the mask is on his eye that he will eventually lose.
Oh, that is some good foreshadowing.
Yep. But again, just overall, I mean, this is obviously its own universe, but for what it is, I don't want to see a follow up. I can't see a follow up because really,
Yeah, how
there's
would
no other
you
era. There's
really
no other era
follow
you
up on
can. There's
this?
no other era you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that? Like, there's no other
Yeah,
era
like
where you.
this is something that feels very unique to the kind of flavor that the Cold War era and especially the post-Cold War era had, and it's very difficult to translate that with how much stuff's changed in the modern world in a way that wouldn't feel shoehorned.
Exactly. But would I want to see something set in this world? Yes. But as a direct follow up, no.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I give it a strong 9.
I'd have to agree. This one was really, really good, and I'm glad I decided to go for the let's do something different this time for this
Yep.
Pro Teaches Noobs episode.
Yep. Yep. Thank you so much, Ingrid. Thank you, everyone else. We'll see you guys on the next one.
See you. Bye.